What up, though, y'all? It's Chris, broadcasting from the D post workout. Let's get out of here. First, we got to talk about Jasmine Crockett. I haven't talked about her in a minute. She's been around, she's been doing her thing. I haven't agreed with really anything she's had to say or have seen anything that she's even done. But now it's time to talk about her because her staff has been leaking information about her to the press, apparently. So, this is a woman that whole loud, ghetto black woman image, she was trying really hard to push that, even though that's not really who she was before she arrived in Congress. That image, it's not working out. And I'll tell you this. I noticed a cooling on her from the Democratic Party. I want to say maybe like a month and a half ago. She started being shuffled aside. And I think it's because they were realizing that that stereotype that she seemingly was being encouraged to do, it's not really working. It's not really playing well. In fact, she was being touted before as being a rising star in the Democratic Party. They were starting to see that the Republicans were delighted to hear this. There are ops though, right? Why would they be delighted to hear it? They were delighted to hear this because they're like, if that woman is a rising star on the left, holy shit, we are going to run this country. It's going to be Republican majority in all things for the foreseeable future if that woman is what you call a rising star on the left. So they were blind to this at first. And when people would talk about, we really don't like how loud she is. We really don't like all the sassiness. We really don't like the unprofessionalism. We really don't like her cussing like a sailor. You would get called a misogynist or a racist, depending on what gender you were and what ethnicity you were. They would find some insult or some label, some negative label to give you if you weren't embracing this very over-the-top, loud, angry black woman caricature that she was throwing out there. So it went from that to where they're just like, you know what? Why are we even fighting this? The Democrats are doing all of the work for us. We don't have to defeat them. They're defeating themselves. We just need to stand firm while they implode. So once they figured that out, it seemed like they kind of cooled on her because that image that they were trying so hard. I mean, I said to black women, how can you listen to this woman and not be offended that this is what they think relates to you? Now, for all of my sisters out there who like to say, you're not loud, you're not ghetto, you're not this, and you're not that, I always would ask, then why aren't you offended by this woman behaving like this and acting like this represents you? Because that's the whole reason why they're doing it. They've never had anybody behave like that before. Now suddenly they do. This was all a play. But apparently, she's not even showing up to work. She's not even coming into her office. And she treats her staff very poorly. And she can't retain staff. You've had former staffers and current staffers leaking information about how things are running at the office with her at the helm, and it's not looking very good. So honestly, Jasmine Crockett is yet another example that I can give you guys of why it's so important to know who you're voting for, because that's how people like this get in. Y'all see strong black woman, you don't know anything else about her, and then you go vote for her based on identity politics, and then this is a person that you get stuck with, making 175,000 a year to do nothing. I'm genuinely asking, what has she done in the time that she's been elected to serve? I don't know, honestly, anything If there's any piece of legislation that woman has gotten through, helped push through, anything creative that's substantial that she has spearheaded and seen get through, let me know, because I honestly don't know anything. She's been on, and this is what's really amusing about this. She's essentially been a token that the Democrat Party has used to communicate to black women. That's it. She's been a figurehead, a token that they've put in place to communicate to black women. And now that they see it's not working as effectively as they had hoped, they're taking a different approach. They're cooling on her. It's kind of like that one, that Olivia, whatever chick. Remember, they hired this, and this just goes to show you how the Democrats, they just hire figure pieces, hoping that it'll work, and if it doesn't, they just get rid of it. They hired that one woman. It's like Olivia something. I can't remember what her last name was, but this was a morbidly obese, feminist, lesbian woman, and they hired her to win over young males because they saw, based on the election, they saw they were losing young males. And so they hire a morbidly obese lesbian feminist as the person who's going to spearhead winning over young males to the political, to the Democrat Party. I just was like, what? First off, there's nothing that young men are going to relate to her with. Just like black folks, black folks can relate to Jasmine Crockett, but not in a positive way. Most black folks look at her, except for what's her name, Shaniqua's, they love her. But most black folks, is normal acting, not loud, obnoxious black folks, they can't relate to that very unflattering caricature of a black woman that she plays. So, in the case of that woman, Olivia, whatever, she failed miserably to do the job that they put her in place to do. Big surprise. One, she's a woman. Two, she's a feminist. I mean, why do young men want to hear from a feminist lesbian? I mean, what can she say to them? She can't relate to them in any way. I guess they both like girls, but that's not exactly going to bring them over to your side in terms of voting. So this was just ridiculous. When she failed miserably, because with guys, no offense, but she doesn't even pass the visual test. Because if you're looking at young males, wanting to talk to young males, you have to give them someone that is going to be physically pleasing to them. It has to be an attractive woman or a fit, handsome guy who they kind of want to look like, want to be like, or whatever. And they just completely failed. So they threw her away. And I'd be willing to bet that in the case of her, they will then repeat this thing with Jasmine Crockett as soon as they're able to do so. Now that they see it's not working and things have gotten worse and their image has become even worse than it was around the election, they're likely going to throw her away the second that they're able to. And I honestly think she knows this, which is why I think that she's starting to act out more. She's starting to really become loud and indignant at different meetings or whatever. She's starting to act out, and I think that's because she's no dummy by any stretch of the imagination. But I think she knows what's in the future, the writing's on the wall. I'm gonna leave it there though, you guys. Hit me with a like if you like what I do. Hit me with a sub if you like what I do. Hit me them comments. I'm gonna holla at y'all. Peace.